Very good afternoon to all of you, all our attendees who have been who have shown great interest in all our events and sessions so far. It's been really overwhelming to see the kind of engagement we have had so far. In coming back to this session, the session for today is masterclass on build your digital workspace. And before we begin, I would like to set the context of this session, and then I'll introduce our eminent panelists for today's session. As we all have noticed during the last couple of years, we have seen how workspaces have evolved, especially after the pandemic. Uh, they are no longer being defined merely as physical space being occupied by employees during regular office hours. The widespread crisis has dramatically transformed the way enterprises operate today. Across all industries, there have been several experiments, tech integrations, process refinements, and new learnings have become critical to navigate the uncertainty and build capacities for distributed workspace model success. In the new hybrid workplace scenario, the role of technology will continue to be critical in building a functional and data-driven future workspaces. As a crucial step, it has become critical for enterprises to reflect on their technology readiness, to drive the culture change, upskill people, and ensure cross-departmental collaboration across its distributed workforce seamlessly and securely. There are, while everyone is gearing up toward digital transformation, there are some issues and of course opportunities as well. So in today's masterclass, we'll hear from our experts about the key constituents of digital workplace strategy and how organizations can enable it effectively in the times of multi-cloud, multi-apps, data, and endpoints. Uh, Most importantly, securing data infrastructure. It's extremely critical, and how the newest technologies, by integrating various technologies, we'll hear from them to secure the digital infrastructure and provide exceptional customer experiences by managing various elements of the IT infrastructure. There are going to be tips, strategies, and how to implement it effectively with things like AI-powered devices and more such solutions, the machine learning capabilities, in which has become critical in today's scenario. By using technology at scale, the time is now to create round-the-clock location-agnostic work platforms for millions of employees across the globe, for almost everyone. With that, I would like to introduce our panelists, our esteemed panelists for today. We have Mr. Shreyas Dukle from Mahindra Partners, and we have Mr. Kokil Veera, Director Solution Engineering, Networking and Security at VMware. We have Jude Matthews, Senior Solution Architect, Westex System Technologies, and Zahir Bhatkar, Solutions Architect, Westex System Technologist. We just wanted to share that please feel free to ask any questions during the session. We'll have time for Q&A session after everyone will complete their presentation and talk points. So please continue to share. Please listen to this session and gain insights, and continue sharing your question. With that, I would like to first invite Mr. Shreyas Dukle from Mahindra Partners. Mr. Dukle has over 27 years of experience in various technology domains. He has headed IT for Mahindra Partners, had a stint with Mahindra Life Spaces, and as a shared CIO for other group companies in Mahindra. He is also a winner of Next 100 CIO in 2012, and currently working in the capacity in the group technology office as financial controlling for IT. So with that, I would like to invite him, and a very warm welcome again to all our eminent speakers for today. Mr. Dukle, I request you to Request you to share your valuable insights.
Thank you. Thank you, Jatinder. Thank you so much. And good afternoon, everyone. Uh, the topic that we have is digital workspace. And let me try to kind of break that digital and workspace. And I go back to around few years when we were talking about the IT strategy. And we were thinking about any time, anywhere, any device working for our employees. And I think any time started when we went global, we had to have a 24 by 7 system availability and all that. But anywhere, I think the pandemic has taught us. And let me be very clear in saying anywhere. Anywhere working is earlier we were saying any office. Today I'm in Mumbai, tomorrow I'm in Bangalore. But that barrier of office has been broken down because of the pandemic. And now anywhere working, you could be in office, you could be at home, you could be sitting in under a banyan tree or a people tree, because today some of my workforce has gone to the native places. And I still remember talking to somebody, hey, where are you sitting? Sir, people taking each other at home. Why? Because connectivity. That's the place that where I get connectivity. So that turned out to be anywhere. And now the recent thing which is happening is any device. And I'm sure all of my friends know currently we have a lot of issues with new devices because of the supplies. And we are likely to come back to a scenario which we were talking about a long time back was BYOD, bring your own device. So we may get up into a scenario where we will ask people to bring their own device. Now, these three things culminated together is redefining what is workspace. So ultimately, what kind of work that I do and where do I work from? These are the two things that I will have to look at when I look at workspace. And what is the thing that generally I do? I use some legacy systems which are ERPs. I use my office suite for my mails and PowerPoint and all that stuff. And plus, then, of course, most importantly, the collaboration, which we are doing right now through Zoom and many other platforms. So, all these actually help me to do my work. And if I'm supposed to do from anywhere, that's where we in the pandemic, we did not talk about WFH. We said it is WFA. And that means even if you're traveling, you're in a car, you're stuck somewhere in the traffic, you should be able to work. So these two things are becoming very important anywhere and any device. Now, what are the difficulties that you have? Anywhere you need bandwidth, and that too it should be a secure one. And of course, then the endpoint devices. Now, all this, when I talk about digital, my objective is to have that employee experience. And like we have been talking about customer experience, here employee experience, or rather I re-nomenclate it as employee delight. So if I have to go to that level, I have to break up my needs of the employee. Even when I say workspace, I don't just look at the place or the workstation that where the employee sits. The time it starts working in my office or from wherever, it starts with the attendance system. So whether the attendance system also has changed because of pandemic, we came out with we were using RFID for my attendance. Now, or today we have to shift it to no touch system. So maybe QR code with a mobile app. So at our end, we have a employee mobile app to do all the transactions related to administration or reimbursements, and that too, as far as possible, touchless. So my attendance has gone with a QR code. Now, the interesting thing that we did here is QR code with a GPS kind of a authentication, so that you don't just take the QR code home and start and work. If you are coming to a place, and that's why we are planning. Why? Because now the offices will start. We don't have to have a finger. That's gone. So just an RFID, yes, but I can come to my place. I have a QR code on at my desk, and it identifies that I'm in office. Otherwise, I will take the QR code home and continue working. So those are the things where you will have to really use the digital. So today, one thing which we realize is mobile has become one of the very key device, and a lot of features of mobile we have never explored. So one is, specifically I wanted to mention about the QR. Secondly, when I'm talking about bringing my own device, one issue that came up is bandwidth. And if I'm using my specific own device, all these times my devices were in my domain. Now these are the personal devices. If people are using it, how do you secure them? How do you bring the identity management into it? So you ensure that the same person who's supposed to log in, and on top of that, all the security threats that have come up popped up in last one year, all those things need to be taken care of. So very importantly, I think the security, endpoint security has popped up like anything. Multi-factor authentication is something which we have started talking about. And of course, it's a convergence of technologies when I look at the digital experience for my employees. Uh, One more interesting area that came up here is about data leak. And especially when you are giving the freedom to an employee to log in from any device, from anywhere, uh, data leak came out to be another area where we have to deploy a DLP kind of a solution. Secondly, the in access for my applications shifted. So all this time I used to have my connectivity and access through a proxy whenever they were in my network. Now we are using the retail bandwidth. So cloud proxy came in as a very important thing. And of course, that is where another area that we kind of looked at is how do we ensure that the data leak and access is also managed for employees. Now, whenever we think about the employee experience, uh, two aspects which come into picture. One is the flexibility which any employee needs versus the control that we need to put as a part of IT. So typically the GRC, the governance, risk, compliance is also required to be part of the solutions that I provide. So overall, if I start talking about the digital workspace, is first and foremost 24 by 7 availability. And that is where we went in for a support, which is 24 by 7. We actually communicated saying that even at 2 o'clock at night, if you need any kind of help, we are there. I mean, first and foremost, that's a moral support. Somebody says, oh, don't worry, at 2 o'clock, I can get help. Fantastic. Then came in bringing the devices completely secure. And as far as possible, moving a lot of applications which are very transactional in nature, like the employee app that we have, bringing it on the mobile. So a lot of your approvals and things like that go to mobile so that you can do it on the move. I mean, people who are working from anywhere, they may have their laptops on, but the mobile is something which is there. So notifications, alerts, everything come on the mobile. And then lastly, the collaboration, which is either through Zoom or through Teams, that turned out to be a game changer. And I just got an interesting comment yesterday from an employee somewhere in Chennai saying that I have been working for last 23 years in accounts. I never imagined that accounts people can work from home. And Teams and digital documentation has actually changed the whole scenario, saying that I was worried saying that how will I be able to approve documents, which everything needs to be physical. I have to see the invoices and all. That whole scenario has changed. And that was a compliment saying that all my communication as well as my approval document, everything related to accounts is happening from home. And that's really a compliment to the digital technology. So collaboration is another area where we have actually experienced. I remember 2 years back, we were forcing people to use collaboration platforms. We were talking about unified collaboration. So you can connect or do meetings virtually. And it was a very hard push to do. I mean, the March of 2020 changed the whole scenario. A session that we did internally saying that next week onwards, please ensure that your machines have got Teams. You have all the data which is moved to cloud so that you will be able to work from wherever you wish to. So today, collaboration platform. Now there also you have a lot of risks. Is how do you do the recording? How do you ensure that you have the right people part part of the collaboration meetings. So everything that we are providing to employee for that the so-called digital experience, we have to be looking at how do we control the scenario. So that is where security is coming as a very, very important thing. And I mean, by far, the last 1.5 years that we have seen, uh, technology or the IT teams have got lots of compliments, but there is a way to go. So I'm sure the upcoming things, which is AI and bots and all, are going to actually enhance that experience. And I foresee that a lot of such inclusions will definitely get into the delight that we are talking about. So overall, if I just consider digital workspace, I'm not sure whether I've touched upon all the areas, but the employee experience and intuitiveness in those experience touch points is, I mean, touch is a word which is going away, but here I wanted to emphasize that's a touch point for an employee is going to be a game changer. So how fast organizations adopt those will actually decide how the future digital workspace will be. I am actually through, Jatinder. If anything is there, I can take a pause, and if there are any questions, or maybe I think we can go ahead with the next presentations, and we'll wait for the question answers at the end.
Sure. Thanks, Shreyas, for sharing your perspective and the key winning points for the overall digital transformation strategy and how to build an effective digital workspace in the wake of today's a challenging time. I'm sure this has uh, with significant investments in technologies, process innovations, uh, there are greater opportunities, and that's what we are going to hear from our next set of panelists. Thank you for sharing your perspective. We'll come back to you just in case if we have more questions. Yeah, thanks. So now I would like to invite Mr. Kokil Veera, Director Solution Engineer Networking and Security at VMware, to share his thoughts and provide insights uh, uh, around the opportunities and the digital workplace strategy, how enterprises can enable it effectively, and keeping things like security risk as well in mind. Sir, over to you, and a very warm welcome again for joining us. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks, Jatinder, and thank you to the CIO and leader team for having me here in this event. I think it's a pleasure, and good afternoon to everyone, all the listeners. I think first of all, Shreyas, thank you. I think great insights. I think work from anywhere, any device. I think that has become a reality, and I would just want to add to that. I think purely from a VMware perspective, today, if you look at the anywhere and any device stuff, I think we also add to that is the any infrastructure, which means you can run your applications, and those are again any applications on top of any infrastructure. And I'll take this opportunity then to basically provide more insights on how at VMware we are helping customers build onboard this journey of any application running on any infrastructure or any cloud, as they say, and accessed by any device from anywhere, right? So let me expand that any space with what we are doing at VMware and how we are helping them. And of course, all of this entitled and purely secured with the intrinsic security portfolio that we have today, right? I'm just sharing my screen. Is it visible? Just want to double check. It is visible. Perfect. Thanks. And as we got the insights, right? Digital transformation is I think not about just new innovations and new technologies, right? I think what we are looking at is most of our customers today are clearly focusing on building more and more digital processes, right? As Shreyas provided us an insight or an example of a finance person, and how thrilled he was to access everything from his home. I think that is where most of our customers are today, focusing on building these digital processes, building their core business operations, their supply chain, and customer and employee interactions that we see today. I think those businesses are getting digitalized, right? And what it requires today is I think the need is to have flexibility, to have resiliency, to have speed of bringing applications much faster to the market today, right? And for all of this, I think digitization is at the core, and that is exactly what we're doing from a VMware perspective. The innovation, fast innovation of bringing in such technologies that can help customers adopt this next generation digital wave, right? And I think to succeed, I think what we are also seeing is businesses really today need to anticipate and meet these demands, right, of the customers, the employees. They need to focus on the rapid execution. I would say they need to optimize their operations to get to market much faster. And this could be with the people, their skill sets, and the systems that they already have. And lastly, of course, the cyber security or security space is extremely important, right? So I think with digital business coming into foray, I think strengthening of cyber security to reduce threats and losses to the business is extremely important. And Shreyas did cover that, by saying, multi-factor authentication and other technologies that kind of have to be imbibed into this change, right? So before we get into the digital workspace, I think from a VMware perspective, we look at it holistically from a service provider. As a service provider perspective, we look at it from an infrastructure perspective. We help customers modernize their applications, and then of course we also help them provide the experience to use these from any of the devices, right? And that is exactly what we do here. Now I'll just quickly take you through some of the challenges that we've seen enterprises have today when they are moving to adopt the digital business. I think today a lot of our customers are very much siloed. If I look at them, the processes are still very old processes, ticket-driven processes, as they say. There are gaps in the skill sets to adopt new technologies, and then again, as they expand into adopting multiple clouds, the whole security is extremely important. The attack surface area then becomes extremely large, right? And our goal has been to kind of mitigate a lot of these challenges, help customers mitigate a lot of them by means of introducing our solutions, which means we help build teams that can collaborate, whether it is a developer organization or the operations organization and different line of businesses. Today, we help them collaborate. The idea is, of course, to be more self-serve, have processes that are completely automated, to introduce, security as part of the infrastructure itself, and to create a very, very simpler model that can also give a return of investments, to our customers, right? So the idea is to build that right digital foundation that can give you both reliability and at scale, of course, and help you with the rapid innovation without disrupting your existing way of doing things, right? And so that has been the motive at VMware. Clearly, if you go through our digital foundation story, I think we enable today teams to build, run, manage, connect, and protect the entire application portfolio that you see on any cloud, on any device, right? As mentioned, right? So it enables our customers to run applications that are traditional or next generation, the likes of containers and microservices and Kubernetes, to the SaaS world, applications that are offered by hyperscalers today as a service. They pretty much can run today on any cloud, whether it is it is your private cloud, or we talk about the hybrid and multi-cloud environments, to the latest telco edge um, scenarios with 5G coming in. We enable those infrastructures and have applications run on top of that. And then, of course, we get into the device portion and help employees with that experience of accessing these applications and accessing these infrastructures from any device with the seamless, consistent experience, right? And all of this coupled together by providing a consistent network and security fabric that can today provide the best of securities and help reduce the losses, right? So that is clearly what we're doing at VMware, helping customers build this digital foundation, right? Now, if I double click into the application piece or application tier of that, I think we're today helping customers build, run, and manage their traditional applications, but also go ahead and migrate them to the next generation cloud native applications, right? And the whole idea is to simplify operations across both the traditional and the next generation cloud native applications, transform the developers and operations team to adopt to something that is a unified experience for them. And of course, the developers can then leverage this experience to have faster release cycles so that the applications hit the market much faster. And then if I double click on the second tier, which is the any cloud tier, as I said, today we clearly help customers move applications beyond the private data centers. They could deploy the applications today either in an on-prem environment or leverage any of the public cloud environments. And we seamlessly help customers migrate these applications. So today we've partnered with most of the hyperscalers, the likes of AWS, Google, Azure, Oracle, and others. And what we have done is build the exact same integrated VMware stack on these clouds, so the customers can simply migrate the applications that are their existing applications onto these clouds, and then start also accessing the native services offered by the same hyperscalers, right? And in that, what we do is one is, of course, the consistent infrastructure, but we also ensure that how easy it is for our customers to manage this consistent infrastructure by providing a single pane of glass visibility, by providing a tool that can help them do operations across the multi-cloud environments in a seamless manner. A lot of automation baked into the solutions, and then we ensure that all of this has security attached to that and governance for them to look at it forward, right? And then as we look at the third fabric into that is predominantly when the applications and data are started to reside across this multi-cloud environment, we kind of then tend to build a network fabric which is powered by our virtual cloud network portfolio today that can help give you this consistent end-to-end networking that is fully defined in the software today, and that is programmable, that is automated, and that provides security that is intrinsically defined into the same infrastructure, right? And not only that, I think we are also working with a lot of telcos to expand that to the edge networking and 5G kind of scenarios. So as we get into the next sessions, you will hear more about the any device piece and how the digital workspace is enhancing the experience of users and empowering the employees to kind of work from anywhere. So I think this is the focus of today's session, and I'm sure the following sessions will provide more in depth. But as I just want to bring the piece, from a VMware perspective today, you looked at how we are helping customers build that any infrastructure, helping them run them on any clouds, modernize the applications, whether it is traditional applications or next-gen applications. What we are also saying is that if we speak about employees, we want them to be more and more productive. We want them to work from anywhere with any of the applications or a wide range of devices that they use today. And today, Workspace ONE is one of the solutions that not only helps end users, but also helps IT themselves to simplify their app data and device management. Right? So one unified platform that can securely deliver and manage applications across this, right? And double click on security. If you look at security today, I think what we've done is onboarded a model called zero trust security, and what we bring to the table is 5 key touch points that you have in the environment, right? So if we keep the data in the center, the applications and data in the center, we today have 5 key touch points looking at the devices or the endpoints, and how are they being accessed, what is the control that we can have users accessing those devices. And then we look at the workloads in the data center, what applications and the permissions that these applications require, whether they are running in on-prem environments or cloud environments, whether there are SaaS or IaaS applications. And then, of course, look at the network fabric. So what we do from a security perspective is bake this zero trust architecture by providing touch points into these 5 different areas, and provide a lot of visibility and analytics when we get into the intrinsic security, right? So that is something that we've been helping our customers do this. And if I have to just summarize today, I think app modernization, we take advantage of the cloud-based flexibility and help customers build better developer and operational teams collaboration. We help customers manage the complexity, the cost and security across the multi-cloud environments as they go into and adopt more and more hyperscalers. And also, of course, they can scale instantly and on demand as the business requirements. We kind of build the network fabric, the virtual cloud network completely in software, and help provide the end-to-end network and security, or connectivity and security. And of course, the remote workspaces, which is where we're going to speak about more, that can help deliver access to any applications today from any device without compromising the security, right? So security is at the core foundation of the complete digital business, right? So if you look at our portfolio today, we've kind of put across 5 different buckets. Clearly the modernization of applications and the multi-cloud management, that are the buckets with security tied in and networking cut across, and focusing more on the employee experience and how they can access applications from anywhere, which is the digital workspace. We're going to double click on the digital workspace today, and I think in the next sessions we will gather more details. But I think I just want to again summarize, as Shreyas also covered. I think work is no longer a single place today, right? Within what we've seen in last 2 years with COVID, I think work from anywhere is already a reality today. You can work from your homes, from your branch offices, from a coffee shop, anywhere, and you get the exact same experience. And that is what we are helping to build. And there are different types of users that will fall into this. And so what we provide is capabilities to help IT build this kind of infrastructure that can help reduce the user concerns as well as the IT concerns, right? So I think this is what I wanted to cover predominantly. From a VMware perspective today, we are at the core of helping customers onboard the journey of adopting digital world, and we help you build the digital infrastructure where you can run any application on top of any resources, any cloud, and then that can be accessed by any devices, right? So with that, let me hand it over back to Jatinder, and we'll have more insights with our speakers, Jude and Zakir, on the digital workspace, right? So thank you very much, team, for giving us this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Kokil, for phenomenal view on cloud foundations, and you touched upon some very pertinent points: core supply chains, flexibility, resiliency, building applications at an accelerated pace and the enterprises are still struggling with old processes. Not all enterprises, but a lot of enterprises are still struggling with old processes, ticket driven processes, and there are gaps in the skill sets, especially in this in the space of newest technologies such as cybersecurity and artificial intelligence as well. And adopting multiple cloud itself can become an intricate process if your people are not very well versed with the systems and how effectively it can be managed. So once again, thank you for sharing some wonderful perspectives. I'm sure our attendees would benefit from these tips and overall insights. So thank you very much. Now, with that, I would like to invite our next panelist, Jude Matthews, Senior Solutions Architect, Vistec System Technologies, and Zahir Bhatkar, Solutions Architect, Vistec System Technologies. Vistec has over 2 decades of rich experience in providing integrated technology solutions to SMEs and large corporations across India. And today we are going to learn from them that how effectively digital workspaces can be built and organization can prepare themselves for the future of work, the hybrid workspaces, and how those challenges can be mitigated in the age of multi-cloud, multi-apps, data, and endpoints. Thank you. And over to you, Zood and Zahir. Thank you very much. And a very warm welcome.
Hey Jatinder, thanks for the introduction. It's a pleasure to be here as part of this program. So thanks for the opportunity given to WiseTech to be part of this, wherein we have a lot of senior IT professionals who are attending this particular program. So we have 2 parts to this presentation. So I'll take the first part wherein I will be talking a little bit about what WiseTech is all about. Definitely there'll be a lot of audience who will be knowing about WiseTech, but yes, a small recap about what we do. And then I'll hand it over to Zahid so that he can throw some light on the digital workspace from a technical perspective. So I'll just share my screen. Jatinder, you can just confirm whether the screen is visible.
Sure, Zood.
Yeah. So is it visible, Jatinder?
Absolutely. It's clear. Please go ahead.
So this is just a small presentation that we have just to, as I said, just to give you an understanding about WiseTech. So WiseTech is a pretty old organization in the market. We have been servicing our customers for more than 31 years. From a DNA perspective, we are a system integrator where we provide a lot of multiple solutions cutting across the entire span of data center networking solutions that we provide. We are a PSO partners to many leading OEMs. So when I say PSO, it is called professional services outsourcing. So wherein a lot of the services of the OEMs are actually delivered by the technical team of WiseTech. So this basically talks about the comfort of OEM with us in terms of our technical capabilities and the technical team that we have, wherein we have pretty senior and experienced engineers who have done many successful projects. We are present pan-India, so we are headquartered in Mumbai, but we also have a sales offices in Pune and Bangalore. And along with the sales offices, we also have a technical engineers who are present across the country. So we talk about Hyderabad, Chennai, up north in Delhi, Noida belt. We talk about the east in Kolkata, Bhubaneswar. We have a technical presence that is available. So any sort of a pan-India project, we'll be more than happy to see how we can associate with you. In terms of our primary strength, it basically talks about our technology division where we have got a specialized team, TSD, which is called the Technology Solutions Department. We have got different teams for different technologies that we provide to our customers. We have dedicated, certified, and skilled resources. We have a 24/7 NOC, so installations that require 24/7 support. We have a team for that. As we said, we are partners with most of the global leaders in terms of technology. and we can definitely provide you the pan-India service. So any sort of a pan-India project, yes, we can deliver that. The next slide talks about the key solution areas that we have. So this is just a small snapshot about what WiseTech can deliver. So we talk about core infra, which basically talks about your traditional IT components in terms of server storage and the networking component. The data management basically talks about the entire backup, restore, data replication type services that we can provide to you. Virtualization, yes, we are partnering with VMware in this particular presentation today. So we are a very old partner. I would say that we are the earliest partners of VMware in the country. So we have a very strong, bonding with VMware and stickiness with them. But nevertheless, we talk about the entire spectrum of virtualization solutions that we can offer to you. It could be from a desktop application virtualization to server virtualization. There's a lot of talk about storage virtualization that's happening, and also the network virtualization that we have. The next pillar is our cybersecurity portfolio, where we all understand there's a lot of complexity on the security aspect. So earlier it was just a firewall and an antivirus, which was the security solution for most of the companies. But there's been a lot of changes that's happened, and we have got a plethora of security services that we can offer to you, which can basically provide end-to-end security or secure network for you. Open source, again, the last 4 to 5 years, we have been really focusing on open source. We are seeing a lot of adoption of open source initiatives by a lot of customers. Yeah, again, we are partners with many brands like SUSE, Red Hat. We've also been seeing a lot of movement happening in the open source database. So yes, we are partnered with MongoDB and Redis. So that is an area that we have started our business and really focusing on. We have hyperconverged infrastructure, which is basically an all-in-one solution where we have your compute, your storage, and your hypervisor layer all coming into a single engineered appliance. So we are one of the strong players in the market where we have got expertise on various flavors of HCI solution. So that is what it is. Cloud has been another journey which has really picked up in the market in the last so many years. So yes, we are partners with the leading public cloud providers. It could be Azure or AWS, and also the Google Cloud that we have. So yes, anything to do with cloud services, we are pretty much there, and we have got a dedicated team which focuses on that. And ultimately, yes, it is the services. So we as a company, we are providing an end-to-end solution to our customers. So it's not only about doing a transaction of selling a component, but we have a team which believes in designing the solution, implementing the solution, and also providing you annual support once the sign-off has been done. A small snapshot about the customers that we have. So though WiseTech is predominantly strong in the BFSI segment, because that is one of the biggest segments as far as business is concerned. So yes, we have a deep focus on that. So some of the big names, it could be in private or public, you can see on the screen. But along with that, we also have some other big names which cuts across various segments. So these are a couple of slides which talks about the various recognitions and accolades that we have received from various from time to time. The reason of highlighting this slide basically talks about our technical capabilities. It also talks about our stickiness with the various OEMs that we have, and it basically talks about the type of quality of work that we deliver to a lot of our customers. And even if you see these slides in terms of the OEMs, it is cutting across multiple technologies. It could be from security to an application to a virtualization, or also to that hardware infrastructure. We as an organization are pretty strong on various technology pillars that I highlighted earlier, and we would like to see how we can connect with you and be part of digital journey. So this was a small overview about our company. So friends, anything and everything from an IT solution perspective, we are there. So we like to connect with you and see how we can take things ahead. So from here, I will like to hand over the session to Sahib. So he will take you through the next part of the program. Thank you, Jatinder.
Jude, sorry to interrupt. I think there is some noise issue or fluctuating voice. Is it from your end, or is it a platform issue? If please check that.
I'm not too sure. Things seem to be pretty much okay at my end. Jatinder, are you there?
Here, I think there was some fluctuation in voice from your side.
Oh,
It's okay now. Thanks.
yeah, thanks.
Thanks. So now, Mr. Zahir Bhatkar can share his perspective. I would like to invite him to take this ahead and deliberate on the key initiative, along with Mr. Jude Matthews.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm just sharing my screen.
Yeah, it's visible, sir.
It's visible? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Shreyash, Kokil, Jude, and Jatin for the opportunity given here. So as Shreyash and Kokil, Jude explained about what is a digital workspace. So we are aware about means a digital workspace means it is all about any. Any means we can say that it should be any device, any user, any application, any kind of data, or any kind of network provided by the seamless user experience and the data security. So this is the core of the digital workspace solution. So this is the agenda here. So I'll be taking to the introduction of the digital workspace and the benefits, and I'll be taking one of the use case of one of the customer what we deployed. So, and what all components or the solutions were been integrated in this deployment. Yeah. So about a digital workspace. So digital workspace, as everybody discussed, that it is a framework to manage your entire user portfolios or the user applications data centrally, right? So it is purely an solution to enable the terminology of any component. So any means any is the component which can be delivered from any factor. So again, same thing. It's again user data, media, and the data security. So when you talk about digital workspace, it gives you an consistent user-defined, user-unified management and the seamless experience on the mobile devices like laptops, desktop, phones, tablets, everything. It gives you the feature of single sign-on and also security for your applications, which can be your Windows-based application, Windows, Linux, or any web-based application hosted on-premise, or it can be on the cloud. Or else you can, when you talk about the applications, like some applications which are legacy applications which cannot be moved or it cannot follow the journey of modern application, those applications can also be deployed with help of the digital workspace, right? So digital workspace, as you see the image at the right hand side, so it says about IT modernization. IT modernization means what would be the policies to manage your assets, IT assets, policies for your data, application management, and what is the behavior of your devices, automation, compliance, audit policies, and all. And for the employee engagement would be what should be the user experience, like as Shreyas rightly said, it's everything about the user experience. So just take an example, as the users are moving or everybody is currently working from home from last year. So the future would be purely work from anywhere. So to work from anywhere, we need a consistency uh, or the seamless user experience for the user productivity, right? So employee engagement is all about how we plan the user behavior or how we tune the applications related to the user work scenarios or the work cultures. Then we have a component of zero trust security. Zero trust security means as it is said, zero trust we means we don't trust any component, right? So how to secure that device, how to secure that network, or how to provide identity management or conditional accesses to the business applications. So all these features are been addressed by the amalgam of this solution, that is device management, application delivery, your access services, and again your endpoint securities. So here are the key benefits of the digital workspace. So digital workspace is about all about increasing the user productivity, like means how the user or the business would be promoted or the productivity would be enhanced by enabling the users to work from anywhere. Then it is all about engaging employees. Engaging employees means it should be a seamless user experience across all the devices. Users should get the same consistency and have the same behavior on experience. Then you have technology agnostic solutions. Technology agnostic solution is all about it's any kind of hosting. It means digital workspace can be hosted on your on-premise solution, that is again on your traditional servers, HCI servers, that is private cloud. It can be hybrid, it can be purely on cloud. So that is technology agnostic. Then you have better security. Better security, it is again, it can be integrated MF with the multiple third-party MFA solutions. You have conditional access policies, then you have role-based access. And the fourth one is your, you can reduce your initial investment by going on cloud. So the use cases for a digital workspace would be the contractual workers, or just take an example, means some of the construction companies or the lawyer firms, they might be needing a contractual projects. So they can enable the users to work from anywhere, work from home, work on the client side or cyber cafes anywhere. So that would be the use case would be for the contractual workers. Then we have remote workers, like what we are currently doing, means we can work from anywhere, our homes, places. Then is third use case is like sensitive data. So normally when we talk about the data, so just take an example. Currently, some of the companies are still using the VPN solutions, right? So in VPN solutions, there is a chance that your data might be stolen or there might be theft, right? So we need to separate that data, so which can be again segregated with the help of the digital workspace. Again, digital workspace solutions are compliant with the HIPAA compliant PCI DSS and GDPR protected solutions. So here we would be talking about the digital workspace solutions. So we would be covering around three main products of the digital workspace solutions. So the primary product is the VMware Horizon. So VMware Horizon is a primary product for your application virtualization, virtual desktops. So virtual desktop consisting of your dedicated or the floating desktop. Dedicated desktop means it would be a Windows 10 VM given to the user for a particular users. Floating desktop would be a kind of a temporary desktop. Once that user logs off, that desktop would be deleted or that can be purged. So these are the normal three use cases. One is the shared, where you can publish your application based on the Microsoft RDS. Second is the dedicated desktop. Third would be your floating desktop or non-static desktops. Then you have then you have VMware Workspace ONE. Workspace ONE is an unified endpoint management solution which can help us to manage our endpoint devices. Like just take an example of your MDM. You can do mobile device management. You can secure your email like MAM, mobile application management. Then you have enterprise email management, All these features can be achieved with the help of VMware Workspace ONE. Again, it can be integrated for the conditional access. Conditional access scenario would be, just take an example, we want to give an access only to the authorized devices or the enrolled devices. Those authorized laptop, phones, tablet should be only able to access the business applications. So then we have the solution that is an NSX. So NSX is all about it's a primary component of the intrinsic security or network security component of VMware. So it does load balancing and firewalling of your traffic, and again it does the network segmentation. So here the use case what we would be showing you would be using NSX for the load balancing. Right. So this is the console or the screen what the user would be getting. Just take an example. User is logging to the business application. They would be getting a unified page. So unified page means it is a single entry point for all your business application, be it be your Windows-based application, browser-based applications, or any kind of SaaS-based application. You'd be getting a single unified screen. So all about the digital workspace. So what we do is, so initially we do the understanding of the what is the use cases and all. So we start with the planning. We discuss with the customer what are the business requirement. We analyze their processes, how the user works, what are the business requirement, what are the pain points, and what all they want to achieve. Then the third would be a design phase based on the understanding what we took from the business and the technical stakeholders. We design a solution and we present it to them. Then we have an initial phase of POC where we design a scope, what needs to be evaluated. So based on that evaluation, we again means frame what are the findings of the solution. So here we are taking a case study of one of the customer. So the case study is for the customer where they wanted that means it's a software company where they wanted that users, around 1,000 users should be able to work from anywhere because their offshore projects are also on hold last 2 years of COVID. So nobody is able to reach to their office. So they had a requirement to work from anywhere. And they should be able to support Windows 10 desktop, Linux desktops, and some of the applications like application virtualization for MS Office or any HRMS applications or time management for non-technical developers. They wanted to have a single sign-on or conditional access for their corporate-owned devices. Corporate-owned devices, they provided around 1,000 desktop to their 1,000 employees. And now they wanted that from that machines only that users should be able to access. Along with they wanted to have the high availability of infrastructure, means they wanted load balancing and high availability for their critical components. So in this project, what we use here is we did the profiling of the users. Like we identified 2 profiles. Like the users were having a laptop of around i3 8 GB RAM and around 500 GB of hard drive. So what we did is we captured the data and did the analysis during a POC and identified the ideal scenario would be 2 vCores and 8 GB of RAM and 100 GB of hard drive. So that would be the profile 1. So they had around 700 users for Windows 10 and around 300 users for Linux desktop. That was around 4 vCPU and 16 GB of RAM. So this entire deployment was done on the on-premise, so using Dell EMC as an hosting infrastructure. So when you talk about digital workspace, it is purely any. It can be on any hardware. It can be Dell. It can be on traditional storage, or it can be on cloud. So the operating system what we used here is Microsoft Server 2019 for the server infrastructure, Windows 10 Enterprise for the Windows virtual machine, that is dedicated desktop, and Linux Ubuntu desktop for the developers. So both would be developer profiles. with having their own access or the applications. The VDI software what we use here is VMware Horizon Enterprise Edition, load balancer, that is NSX Advanced Load Balancer, and UEM software that is for conditional access. We use VMware Workspace ONE. So this is the architecture what we propose to the customer. So as you can see, there is an endpoint users, and there are certain components in DMZ and some components in the internal network of the user. So the scenario is the user would be having a laptop with Windows 10 operating system, with VMware Horizon client and VMware Workspace Intelligent Hub. So this software would be installed on the user endpoint. So scenario is when the user tries to, you'd be given a URL which has been configured on the UEG 1 and 2, and similarly that is VMware Workspace ONE access. So user will get a URL, and that URL user will feed their credentials, they will get their applications. So it will get the unified page for their application. So suppose I'm a user, I'm a Windows based developer, I will get my Windows dedicated desktop in that console itself. Right. So these are the components what I would be explaining here. So VMware Workspace ONE Access is a Linux-based virtual appliance which would be downloaded from VMware portal, and that can be configured. So it is predefined virtual appliance which would be hosted on your, in this project we did it on Dell hardware. Then we have components like Device Manager. Device Manager is an service or the software which is used for enrolling or registering this mobile device management. So here we would be registering all our Windows 10 devices. Then we have Unified Access Gateway. Unified Access Gateway is an reverse proxy virtual machine or server. So reverse proxy means, just take an example, when you talk about VPN. So VPN entirely opens the data packet from layer 4 to layer 7, right? So all your communication between endpoint and the VDI or any source and destination is purely open. So with help of UEG, what we do is we do a reverse proxy. So endpoint directly speaks only to the UEG appliances or the UEG virtual IP, which here we have defined. Right, so user will talk to the virtual appliance, that is UEG virtual IP. Rest all data will remain inside your data center. So internal network, what we defined is a server VLAN, which is not exposed directly to the user environment. So then we have components like NSX load balancer. So as you can see, there are two components for each service, that is 1 and 2. We have created a redundancy of these components, and we have built a load balancing configuration here. So we have defined a virtual IP where all the connections will hit to this virtual IP, and it would be load balanced equally on the backend servers, right? So then we have a component called SQL. SQL is an SQL database is required to store all the configurations. Like when we configure Unified and Workspace ONE, we need a database to store. When we configure Horizon, we need a certain database. So what we have done here is we have deployed one SQL server with multiple instances for the database. So we have created two instances. One is for your Unified Endpoint Management, and one is for the Horizon. Then we have a file server. File server is an Windows file server. Just take an example. Normally, when we talk about a normal laptop, so normal laptop has the operating system, then they have user data, then we have certain configurations. So we call it as a profile, right? So what we do here in Digital Workspace or VDI is we split all these four components. We split the operating system, we split the data, we split the profile, right? So all these components are splitted and stored in the file server. Just take an example, user, there would be two shares given to the user. One share would be for profile, where all the roaming profiles would be stored. Then there would be user data like Word, Excel, PowerPoint data, or a departmental share file where this data would be stored. Then we have a component called SIEM with DHCP, DNS, and AD. So all these three components can be installed on a single machine or the cluster of Microsoft. So DHCP we need because we need an dynamic IP addresses for virtual machines. So in this project, we needed around 100 VMs, right? So this workload was for 100 users. So we needed a pool of 1000 IPs along with the internal DNS and Active Directory we needed for group policies. So we created a separate OU for each and every department. Like, so before going for a project or before deployment, as we said, we do analysis and assessment of the environment. So before starting a project, we freeze what all configurations are to be done with the user. So when we do the assessment, we check the user profile, what all department, what all data has been required, from where they need to access, do they need any USB restrictions, or they need any watermarking features. Like just an watermarking feature would be, just take an example, if the user is using VDI at home or anywhere, they can take the snapshot from their phones, right? So here we have a security feature. It will give you a watermark on the user session. So just take an example. If I'm using a VDI, there would be a name Zahir Bhatkar, and the name it will be with the IP address from where I'm accessing the environment. So if I try to steal the data or steal the screen snapshot, that will go again with my name or the host name. Again, this here when we talk about security, now it has come with the MFA. Like everybody is aware, it can be with certificate-based authentication. It can be with the USB. Yeah.
Zahir, hi, Jatinder. Please wrap up at the earliest. We are running short of time. Thanks.
Yeah. So next deployment, next component would be your virtual IPs for Workspace ONE components. Then we have the AVI controllers for the management of the NSX. Dynamic endpoint management would be used for managing your profiles. Then we have at the right hand side, you can see the VDI desktops, which would be a count of around 700 or 300 VMs, right? So about the badges, what WiseTech has is we are the master competency certified partners. So we have achieved our certifications in digital workspace, network virtualization, cloud management and automation, VMware Cloud on AWS, and data center virtualization. Yeah, Jatin. So any question on this?
Thank you. Thank you, Zahir. There are a few questions from audience, but largely on digital transformation strategy. So we'll probably take that through email because we are running short of time right now. So I would just like to thank all our esteemed guests today, including Mr. Shreyas Dukle, Kokil Veera, and the Westech team, Jude and Zahir, for sharing your perspective, wonderful perspective on the new opportunities in the wake of digital transformation, and how to build an effective strategy for digital workspace in the growing hybrid workspace environment where people are looking at new experiences, exceptional experiences, and organizations are trying to leverage newest technologies to provide a secure and seamless working environment to their employees. With that, I would once again like to thank all our esteemed guests and panelists for this session. And thank you everyone who has attended this session, and we'll certainly be in touch. And for this time, I'm going to sign off. This is Jatinder Singh, Associate Editor, CIO and Leader, and I would like to see more perspective from Westech, VMware, and all our CIO members, including Shreyas Dukle, in future as well. Thank you very much to all of you, and looking forward to have more meaningful engagements in the future. Thank you.